Hello and welcome back to Rayman Origins, and the final episode of this Let's Play. Last time we beat Moody Clouds and we took down the magician and his blimp. And with that, we have unlocked the final character, and we have all the collectibles. So all that's left is to return the skull teeth to their rightful owner, and gain entrance to the land of the Livid Dead, so let's get to it. Well, he's pretty stoked about it. Well then. Step aside. Well, before we enter, let's check out the final character. It's a glowbox model. Pretty similar to the Rayman model we unlocked. We'll never get to play as this guy, unfortunately, but we can at least see what Bobble Dreamer says. Well, that's that. I think we checked out all the character descriptions, so it's finally time to enter Land of the Livid Dead and finish this game once and for all. Okay, this is it. Oh, a welcoming committee. Hello. So that's how you greet people around here, huh? Well, hello to you too. Looks like they're playing petanque on the foreground. Ubisoft definitely is a French company. Foul. You suck, lady. Yes, even the flowers are deadly here. Anyway, let's continue our journey throughout this dangerous landscape. Teach these grannies a lesson. And let's do it without dying, just to make it up. Right. Just forget about that. I'll beat the level without dying, just as a little cherry on top. The level's pretty difficult, but I wanted to up the ante just a little bit. As you can see, the level is pretty cruel. You can't really stand still, everything crumples down, and if you try to take a breather, usually a tentacle or two will emerge and completely ruin your fun. Whoa there! I bet you weren't expecting this. This here is the fastest sequence in the game. It all relies on a rather precise set of inputs. If you time your jumps wrong, you may grab a ledge, which will make you fall behind and make the flies kill you, or you can fall short and hit some of the tentacles. There's quite a few ways to die here, and this screen killed me more than any other in the level. And once you get past it, you can't even breathe easy because there's immediately a tentacle after you, and then it switches up to a wall running segment. It looks pretty bad, but truth be told, it's one of the easier parts of the level. Once we get past that, it changes again. Your best bet is to boost attack through the grannies here. It's useful in keeping up with the platform. But there's also a tentacle chasing you, naturally, so you can't really sit still for 1 second. That's pretty much the gist of this level. There's always something trying to kill you. And if you think it's safe to stay still, it probably isn't. And there's yet another tentacle. Better climb fast. It didn't kill me that many times, but I swear it's surprisingly difficult to get away from. I need a break. Might as well check out the backgrounds, which I gotta say are really cool for this stage, and they just fit it perfectly, you know? Well, on with the level. So that brings us to the final screen. If you hurry up here, the fire shouldn't kill you, but if you make the tiniest mistake, it will send you to your death. Okay, got the more difficult part coming up here. I'm gonna skip this ledge on the left, it's just gonna fall and create more trouble. Alright, last stretch coming up. This part is actually synced up, but if you fall behind for just a little bit, or try to outrun the screen, one of those fireballs is guaranteed to hit you. It's somehow possible to mess up the flag so that the fireballs will not follow their normal trajectory. You know, just forget about it. I forgot what I was about to say. What a beautiful singing voice you have. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Keep going. That's odd. She's never stopped singing before. Well, no point in staying here. Oh, come on, have you looked in the mirror lately? So this here is Big Mama. And as you can see, our window for hitting the buboes is kinda short. Your best bet is to approach from the left. Touch under her arm and just go for it. And then take her eyes out, literally. That takes us to the second phase. You'll want to jump before she moves her arms here. The physics act a little weird, and if you jump at the wrong time, it may send you off flying at a great speed and straight into the spikes in her hands. And there's not much you can do about that. Well, there goes the second bubo. So, much like the other boss fights, it's basically a memorization game. If you don't know what to expect, you'll never have enough time to react. But once you do, it'll always play the same way, so... Next she'll dip her arms in the lava, and then she'll do it again. And then we'll avoid the bracelet twice, and make a jump to the left, and hit the bubo. And wow, that is a huge one. We should probably hit it hard for good measure. What? Seriously? I suck at this. Well, there you have it. That's the land of the Livid Dead. The final boss was in fact a nymph called Fée de la Mort, Fairy of Death. How she transformed into such a monstrosity, who knows? More importantly, we now get to write the credits, and we get to break the credits. So that's one way to spend the 20-something minutes the credits take to scroll through. I'll be honest, it gets old pretty quickly. So instead of watching the credits again, let's switch the music to something more fitting and watch a death montage. The grannies have a slightly awkward hitbox. Sometimes instead of landing on them, you find yourself getting smacked by a purse. As for the level, it's definitely the hardest in the game. But it's not completely unfair, and I think it's a great gauntlet that uses most of the abilities you have. You get no hearts whatsoever unless you bring one in from a previous level. But it's only fitting, since if you get this far, you've probably mastered the game already, and there are numerous checkpoints. The level's also accompanied by a song that's quite obviously influenced by Ennio Morricone and his spaghetti western soundtracks, and it's among my favorites in the game. The screen with the serpent is refreshingly different from anything in the game, but it's also really difficult. Even the smallest aberration to your inputs will kill you, whether it's by jumping onto the spikes, or grabbing a ledge because your jump falls short. This screen killed me more than any other by far. But nevertheless, it's a pretty cool concept, and it's real neat to go faster than you've ever gone in the game. The devs must have liked the idea, because they actually imported it to Rayman Legends, and used it as a base for some of the daily and weekly challenges. Although the worm was left out of the equation, The basic idea remained the same. You went real fast and reacted to obstacles that you encountered. It also didn't suffer from the sync problems that are evident here. For one, you couldn't outrun the screen, but it was also an overall smoother experience. Anyway, after the snake, we come to this part. Hold on a second. Did I just get killed by the credits? Let's see that again. If you sit here, it's supposed to throw you out of there, but yeah, the credits killed me. Well, that's pretty cruel, spending all that time to beat the level without getting killed, and then being crushed by letters. Oh well. Let's see if I can recreate that. No, can't even kill myself of my own volition. That was seriously the game just taunting me right there. Oh, you think you can beat this without dying? Well, think again. And speaking of unfair stuff, this jump right here, well, just look at it. If your angle is even slightly off, there's nothing you can do to salvage it anymore. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but that kind of a thing shouldn't happen ever. So yeah, obviously the level is not without flaws, but outside these tiny problems, I really enjoy the level for what it is. The way it throws different kinds of obstacles your way, forces you to react quickly, and then suddenly changes it up without warning you. It will utterly destroy you on your first time, but after knowing what to expect, it becomes manageable. And I don't really think there's a single point in it that's totally unfair. Then there's the last screen with the flames. Like I said, theoretically you should be able to run through this section without facing any problems. But naturally, you're bound to make mistakes every now and again. And here is why you don't want to step on this ledge. Because it's just a death sentence. It may have been just bad playing though. And the last part with the fireballs, I thought with some of these attempts I was right on the money, but then I just get killed. So either it was a tiny change in my inputs or the flag was off. And usually that means taking a fireball to the face. And here's a little shortcut you can take from the checkpoint, but of course it just doesn't work every time. And lastly, here's what happens if you jump at the wrong time during the boss's second phase. It's not exactly fair. Well, so much for the death montage. Let's skip to the end of the credits. And yes, it truly is the end this time. Nothing left to do in the game, but to collect these lumps. If you give me lumps, I will take them. I fail to see the point, but I will take all the lumps. Every single one of them. Except the ones I didn't have time for. What a bummer. Well, that's that. Time to return to the snoring tree, back to our cavalcade of heroes, to snore and to eat. Oh, right. Hey, Bubble Dreamer. I just saved the world and stuff. You got something to say? You could say that, old chum. You could say that.